For me, I think a voice and a song in particular carries with it a human experience at its simplest and often its rawest. And music has always been a vehicle for the spirit of people, the spirit of the times and the stories of people. And where we believe those stories, that's empathy in action. And that's where action can begin.
And I could cry.
Hi, I'm Hozier, and this is Cry Power, my podcast about people who are using what's available to them to change the world. Presented with our friends at Global Citizen, on each episode I'll be sitting down with people who are putting themselves out there to support a cause that's dear to them. I'll be talking to people whose work is making a real difference, musicians, artists, or just some of my heroes. When I get asked sometimes in the last few weeks, in the last few months, what's it like working with Mavis Staples on Nina Cried Power? My answer is always the same. Mavis Staples is, hands down, one of the best, kindest, warmest, most charismatic, funniest people I have been lucky enough to meet in my lifetime. And I think anyone will ever get a chance to meet. The most generous person with their time, with their energy, most generous person with their spirit and their kindness and their gift as well, with their talent also.
Oh my God. I'm going to try to live up to everything you just said.
Well, you already do it. You already do it. Because to me, aside from all that, you embody and you live and you work what that song is about and what that's and what I was trying to write to in that song, which is people who put their values and put their heart and their hopes and their fears and their honesty where their song is, where their gift is, and they project it out into the world and
comes through.
When
I first got the song, I said, wait a minute, let me put this down, because I was standing up holding it. Let me sit down. And it's just awesome. I never heard anything so beautiful. And when you came with Nina Cried Power. Nina Simone was a really good friend of mine. Very good friend of mine. And she was the best. I gave her credit for, my sisters and I went to see Nina at right here in New York at Village Gate. And she would tell the people, if they were talking, sounds as if you have cotton in your ears. Yeah, and then she would tell them off. But she was playing that piano on the song, and she was getting down and then she just boom hit the piano, jumped up and made a spin, and I just lost it. She was one of my favorites. In fact, James, everybody on there, all the names that you have called out, they have all contributed so much to the music, so much to our craft, and for you to invite me, I said, oh my God, I loved you from the time I heard Take Me to Church, and I didn't get a chance to meet you. I wanted to meet you. We tried to meet each other.
We tried to make it happen.
Yeah.
We tried to make it happen.
But it happened later on Nina Cried Power.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yes.
And I'm so glad it did, I gotta say. Those artists as well, like that, Nina and, as you say, James Brown and singing those songs and what they sang about. But people, to me, there's so much bravery in that. There's so much bravery in telling the truth sometimes.
Right.
And it can be a pretty radical thing to turn around and sing things how they are and say things how they are.
That's right. Can
I ask you? You've been singing your whole life since you were a kid. You were singing with pops and the family.
My sisters.
When you remember, singing more about things that felt like this was something that was going on around you, or singing about what people sometimes refer to as protest songs. But to me, a protest song can just be as simple as telling the truth about something.
Right, exactly.
Do you remember when that? Could you talk to me about when that?
And it's amazing, as young as you are, for you to dip into this message that we have. My family was singing, what happened was Pops, we were in Montgomery, Alabama one Sunday morning, and we didn't have to work until that evening. And Pops called my sisters and I to his room. He said, listen, y'all, this man Martin is here. Martin Luther King. He said, I've been listening to him on the radio, and he has a church here, and I want to go to his 11 o'clock service. Would you all like to go with me? We said, oh yeah, Pops, we want to go. And we all got in the car. We went out to Dr. King's church. An usher ushered us in and seated us. And Dr. King acknowledged us. He said, we're glad to have Pop Staples here this morning and his daughters. Well, he said, I hope you enjoyed the service. We enjoyed the service. And on the way out, Dr. King would stand at the door, and shake the worshipers' hands as they filed out. And my sisters and I, we shook Dr. King's hand. We went on out, and Pops, here come Pops. He shook his hand. He stood there and talked to him for a while. He finally came out. We get back to the hotel, and Pops called us to his room again. He said, listen, y'all, I like this man's message. I really like his message. And I think that if he can preach it, we can sing it. And we started writing freedom songs. The very first one was March Up Freedom's Highway. And right today, I still have that song in my lineup on my shows. I can't let it go yet. Can't let it go. But that's the way we got started on this journey. We were strictly gospel singers. We said, but we felt that even when we moved into folk, people started calling us to folk festivals. My father said, we can sing these songs because there's so much about love. And that's what gospel is, So that's been, from 1949, we started on the floor in our living room. My father used to sing with an all-male group. The Trumpet Jubilees. And these guys wouldn't come to rehearsal. So that's where the Staples singers were. He came home one day and he had a little guitar in the closet. I hadn't ever seen this guitar. He went in the closet, pulled that little guitar out, and he said, I'm going to sing with my children. And he put us all on the floor in a circle, started giving us parts to sing, and because he and his sisters and brothers, 14 of them, they used to sing when they were in Mississippi. So he actually gave us parts that they would sing. And Hozier, people, when we went out, when we would go out, we were little stair steps. I was the baby. I was young, and people thought we were old people. So they would be so surprised to see we were little children. And with your father, too. That was just a big thing. But that's the way we got started. And that's what I plan to continue. I want to keep Pops' legacy alive. So I can't stop.
What is amazing is when I hear gospel, I hear music that's about, as you say, it's about love.
Yes.
And it's about caring for one another. It's about hope. It's joyous. What does gospel mean to you?
From a little girl, and then my father's teachings, I've been a church kid from a little tot, but I would be clapping and singing when 5 years old, but my father taught me a lot, I remember a time that we were in New York, and on stage there were some kids my age. I was about 12 or 13 then, and they were singing, and I watched them, and they were running across the stage, and they were singing as loud as they could. So when I got on stage, that's what I started doing. And Pops snatched me off the stage. He said, Mavis, what are you doing? I said, I'm singing, Daddy. He said, listen, you come here. He sit me down. He said, let me tell you something. You don't need no gimmicks. You don't need gimmicks. You don't need to sing at the top of your voice. You're singing God's music. You're singing love, and he said, you You sing from your heart. When you sing from your heart. You'll reach the people. If you sing from your heart, what comes from the heart reaches the heart. Yeah. So sing from your heart, and you will. I cut out all that gimmick and all that jumping around, and because it embarrassed me too. He snatched me off stage, right? No. But so now when I still do that, Hozier. When I come in the dressing room before I'm going on stage, I do a little meditation, say a little prayer, and I go to my heart, and then I'm ready, And you always in your heart. Your heart is just.
I don't know. That's beautiful though. Like what's sung from the heart reaches the heart.
Yes, and it's true. It's the truth. I love looking out at the audience and seeing smiling faces. Sometimes you see tears, and that's my happiest time is when I'm singing. Yeah. So. I one time I wouldn't come in rehearsal, and Pops told me, he said, "Listen, Mavis, your voice is a God-given gift." He said, "And if you don't use it, He'll take it back. He'll take it away." So I started being the first one in rehearsal.
Yeah.
I didn't want the Lord to take my voice, because I'd be sitting right on the floor when everybody else came in. Yeah.
You talk about, putting yourself in your heart, and there's a moment when we were talking over the lyrics of Nina Cried Power.
Yeah.
There's a line in it, "Cried Power, straight into the face, that would tell you to rattle your chains if you love being free."
Yeah.
When you sing that in the song, you let out what is kind of like this laugh, or there's this energy to it. There's this kind of, and then you refer to that as the spirit just coming through you.
The spirit comes, and the spirit will hit you anytime. In that song, to rattle your chains.
Yeah.
And people thought I was laughing, but no, that was the spirit. Just kept coming through, from within. There's something within me that holds the rein. Something within me that I can't explain. So it's I heard it when I said, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't leave that in the song."
No.
But
that makes it.
It happens. It happens. You do that. I've heard you.
I'm trying.
Yeah, but you don't do it. It's the spirit. It's got to come. You can't stop it.
The Cried Power podcast will explore the UN's 17 global goals, a series of objectives that aims to end extreme poverty, reduce inequality, and tackle climate change by 2030. To take action on any of these issues we talk about on the show, go to globalcitizen.org/crypower and get involved. When you were singing at Martin Luther King's talks, and you really lived it. You were in this. You really did.
I did.
In the center of it.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Did you feel at the time how significant those moments would be for moving forward for forever?
When we first started, I didn't. I was singing the songs. I knew what I was singing, but I was young then. I didn't take it like we're doing a great thing with Dr. Martin Luther King, because Dr. Martin Luther King, he hadn't started the movement when we went with him. Yeah, he hadn't started it. He started it shortly after we joined. We started singing our songs and we joined the movement. But I never dreamed it would be so huge, so dynamic, But as time went on, my heart, I got very serious about it, because our songs, as we recorded, our songs would be popular in the South first. Because gospel music had very little time on the radio, and you'd have to be up at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to hear it. People, we got some knocks from the church people. The Staples singers, they're not singing gospel songs anymore. They just weren't understanding, you know. And but we had to keep going. We had to keep. We were on a mission, you know. And Dr. King, I'll never forget. You know, he loved us. He loved Pops. He one of Pops' songs that Pops wrote was his favorite. Why am I treated so bad? And see, we would sing before Dr. King would speak. We'd be going to the meetings at night, and Dr. King would tell Pops, "Now, Stape, you're gonna sing my song tonight, right?" Pops said, "Yeah, Doctor, we're gonna sing your song." And see, Why Am I Treated So Bad was written around 9 black children
who were denied the right to ride the bus to school. Was it?
You're right. You knew that one.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
song.
trying to ride a bus to integrate a school. Yeah, Little Rock, Arkansas. So it turned out they finally had to let them get on that bus. You know, but I have met some of the Little Rock Nine.
Oh, wait.
Recently, I've met them. Yeah, I did a concert and they came. It was amazing. It's amazing. You know, I'm still here, and they're still here. They were my age when they were trying to get aboard that bus. I've seen some stuff, Hozier. And so as time went on, I just put my soul, my all into it, because I saw, and things were happening to us in the South. Things were happening. We went to jail. We beat up a white man. Right. My daddy. My father wouldn't take no mess, you know, because Pops had lived through this as a child, as a boy, a young boy. And so what happened was I was a night driver. I had driven from Jackson, Mississippi to Memphis. And I'll never forget, I went 3rd and Union to this service station on 3rd and Union. And a tall, young guy come out to the car. He serviced it. When he finished, you know, he wanted the money. I asked him to wipe the windshield. The bugs were on the windshield. And he snatched around. He looked at me a long time, and then he wiped them messy. And then he came again for his money. And I asked him for a cash receipt. And when I did that, that did it. That word came out, that N word, and you come over to the office if you want a receipt. So Pops said, "Pull over there, Mavis." And this guy, he looking at me and my sister and my father. My father had gray hair from 18 years old. He thought Pops was an old man. And my brother was on the back seat covered in coats. He didn't know it was another man. Man, I pulled over there, and Pops went in to get this receipt. And he asked this guy, "Why would you talk to my daughter like that?" And I saw him shaking his finger in Daddy's face. And when he did that, Pops clocked him. And they fought into the grease part of the service station. And then he broke away from Pops. And he run into the office. I knew he was going for a gun. I said, Purvis, they're fighting. Purvis came out of the coats like Superman would come out of that telephone booth, you know. And he was in there. And he went up and came down on the guy. Started running. I'm driving the getaway car. I almost hit him. You know.
Stop.
But as we went on, Pops said, "Mavis, drive." I said, "Pops, I don't think I can drive no more. I'm too nervous." He said, "Just drive. Get on across the bridge." This was the bridge dividing Memphis and West Memphis, Arkansas. And I told him, I said, "There's some lights behind me, some white lights flashing." He said, "Get on across the bridge." I got across that bridge, and when I stopped, these policemen, they jumped out with shotguns. Dogs were barking. Man, I have never been so scared, Hozier, in my life. They had us standing on the highway with our hands up over our heads. He kept calling my father boy. That was killing me. Yeah, and they searched the car. My father told him, "Look, these are my children. We sing gospel music. You can call anybody at WDIA. We record right here in Memphis, Tennessee. They wouldn't hear it. And to make a long story short, they put us in 3 different cars, handcuffed behind our backs. And I just knew they were taking us out in the woods, because this was the 60s. This is the early 60s. And I've never been so happy to see a jail. They took us to jail. Took us to jail. And here you walk into this old black man mopping the floor. He looked up, Papa Staples. What you doing here? And Pops just walked on past, hands cuffed, and then he saw us coming. He said, and your children. But we laughed about that later.
Yeah,
we couldn't laugh then. So what saved us was that receipt. That receipt. The chief came out. He said, okay, who's going to tell me what happened here? And Pops told me, he said, you take me to another room, I'll tell you. He still didn't want me to hear what all that guy had said about me. And Pops, they all of a sudden, they sent Cleety out, my sister, to find the receipt. Cleety came back with a bloody receipt because Pops drew blood. And so it was times like that. They let us go home, and the kids are, Mavis, your father beat up a white man in Mississippi. I said, no, it wasn't Mississippi, it was Tennessee. But times like that, we had many. That was the worst one.
What age were you when that happened?
I was like 20. I must have been about 24, 25. Because I was still a kid. I started thinking, my life started. I said, I won't see my mother again. My little chihuahua that I smuggled a chihuahua out of Mexico. I put him in my purse because you weren't supposed to bring him out, And we were driving then. We had driven to California on our way, and Juarez. So I named him Pedro.
If you find yourself inspired or angry, this podcast isn't just about talking. It's about making change happen, and you can do that right now. You can head to globalcitizen.org/crypower to take action on these issues. This is Hozier, and you're listening to my Cry Power podcast. People often, when we look back at times like this where people are, let's say, singing about change or fighting for change or organizing for change to happen, like the civil rights movement, we like to think that everybody, now that we know, of course that was right. Of course, that was, of course, how could anybody resist that at the time, And so we fail to sometimes think that, of course, there was resistance to. When you felt moments of that, is that something that ever discouraged you or discouraged the family, or does it it lights the fire more?
Oh no. That made us go after it even more, And then I was never afraid. Because we were with my father, and I just felt safe. It bothered me that we couldn't go into certain bathrooms. We couldn't go in restaurants. We couldn't sleep in the Holiday Inn. We could. It was one time, Hozier, we missed coming home for Thanksgiving, and none of the church people invited us to dinner, so we had to park on the highway, go in the grocery store and get us some lunch meat and bread. And here's a cow. The cow stared me down. I told Pops, I said, Daddy, I don't think we can stay here, that cow. And the cow was black and white. I said, he's already integrated. But he don't want us here. So our Pops had to pull up out of that space, man. That cow was bothering me. But we've had times, we came home, my father in South Africa, he told the people, we're not going to sing like this. They wanted the blacks to sit upstairs, and the the whites downstairs. Pop said, no, I'm not letting my daughter sing like this. Dr. King just got the mess straightened up in the States. And he said, you send us back home. We are not. So they ended up sending us to the soccer field in Soweto. Soweto, and it was the very first time that blacks and whites sit together.
I did not know that.
Yes, no problem.
Yeah.
This was in 1976.
Right.
Yeah, and then we went back in 1981. It was a little bit better, but not. And we left there. I said they are really confused over there because instead of having 2 water fountains, they had 3.
Right. You know, what was the third?
The third was for me. My complexion, the kids kept asking me, Mavis, is your mother white?
Right.
They thought I'm colored.
Right.
I'm colored. Right. My father, his complexion's darker, so he's African, he's black. And then there was one for the white Africans. I said, boy, they are truly confused.
Yeah.
But the things that I have seen, the feelings that I have had, I have had some sad, sad feelings in my heart from just seeing my and Pops, he would tell us stories, You hear Bob Dylan's song, Blowing in the Wind. Yeah. When we first met him, we were doing a television show together, and we were talking. Pop said, wait a minute, y'all. Listen to what that kid is saying. Mm-hmm. And Dylan was saying, how many roads must a man walk down before you call him a man? Pops literally lived that. Yeah. He said, we can sing that song. I couldn't walk on the same side of the street. If Pops was walking on one side of the street, if a white man was coming on that side of the street, Pops would have to cross over. He couldn't stay on the same side of the street. So we started singing Blowing in the Wind. Yeah. And that's when we started learning songs like that, and For What It's Worth, and The Weight. We saw love in certain songs that we didn't want to go haywire and go strictly secular, but we had the Staples singers recorded one secular song. Yeah. Your favorite.
Yeah, let's do it
again.
Do it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful number.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
When Curtis was giving us our parts, Pops said, now Pops, this is your part. And that was, I like you, lady, so fine with your pretty hair. Pop said, Curtis, man, I'm not going to say that. I'm a church man. I'm a church man. And Curtis said, oh, Pop, the Lord won't mind. We died laughing. We laughed. But my sisters and I got on Pop. We said, come on, Pops. It's a movie score. But no, and the church people didn't bother us. Okay. The church people got on our case about I'll take you there. They wanted to put us out of church.
Why is that? Because
anytime it came on, people would get up and start dancing.
Okay. Okay.
But I did so many interviews. I tell them, you're not listening to the lyrics. Mm-hmm. We're talking about, I know a place, ain't nobody worried, ain't nobody crying, ain't no smiling faces lying to the races.
Yeah.
Where could we be taking you?
Yeah.
But to heaven.
To heaven, yeah. I always thought it was heaven.
Yeah. But they missed it. They just looking at the people dancing. Okay. Them Staples singers, they singing the blues.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So they finally invited us back to church after they started listening to the lyrics. Mm-hmm. And the very first song requested, I'll take you there.
Do you have any, experiences of artists around that time that would have, I'm sure, inspired you as well too?
Oh yes. Here's Crosby, Stills and Nash. There's something happening here.
Yeah.
What it is ain't exactly clear. And then there's a man with a gun over there. They started the folk singers and other singers as well, but we recorded about 6 or 7 Dylan songs. Yeah, we recorded Masters of War and Hard Rain's Gonna Fall. And
that Crosby, Stills and Nash as well. That same song, your version of that is amazing. The stuff.
It turned out nice.
Oh yeah.
But it's still not a whole lot. I wish for some of these young people, Beyonce, Jay-Z, some of the rappers, rap something about what we need for change, But they're staying in their huddle. But now we have a few. We have Chance the Rapper.
Yeah, Chance is amazing.
Yeah, Chance. Yeah. And we have...
I think Kendrick does it,
he's great. He's great. But it's okay. If you and I don't have help, we'll keep it going. Yeah. We're strong enough, Now you got to stop me, Hozier, because I'll talk too much.
I love it. No, please, no, you couldn't.
No, but I just appreciate you so much. I tell everybody, the questions they ask you, they ask me the same thing. Yeah. But I love it when they ask me questions like that about you. And his name is Andrew. And I said, well, I don't call him Andrew. I give him my own name that I call him.
I'm Hozier. I love it. I love it. Yeah. I hope it sticks as well. I don't think anyone's lived a life like you've lived. What's amazing is you're an honest witness to all the hard stuff you see.
It's true. Sometimes I just have to cry sometimes, I just have to get real quiet when I'm home, and I still talk to Pops. I talk to Dr. King at times. Like, I'm seeing stuff today that I saw in the 60s. And that's what's so hurting. It's so painful, but I know that all I can do is sing my songs. Sing my songs and try to help us come together, try to help us make a change. I don't want to go too far, because what I'm going through now with the White House, So I'm not going to even deal with that. But it's hard, but it's all right. And I'm grateful that we've been a part of it. We've done, and I feel like I've done what I was put here for, what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm singing songs, the kind of songs that I'm supposed to be singing. That's what that's my life. Yeah. That's my life. One little old lady told me years ago when I was a little kid, she said, "Baby, you're gonna preach." I said, "No, ma'am. No, ma'am." She was about 100 years old. I said, "No, ma'am, I don't want to be a preacher, but you're going to preach, you hear me?"
She wasn't wrong.
She wasn't that. She was in a different way.
Yeah, that's it.
In a different way. I'm not in the pulpit saying, "My brothers."
No, you're even better. You're on stage.
Yeah.
To take action on any of the issues we talk about on the show, go to globalcitizen.org/crypower to get involved. A movement of activists all over the world who are using their collective voice to end extreme poverty by 2030. What's next for you? I know you aren't slowing down. I'm amazed by you.
I'm going to be touring Europe in June and July. And there's quite a bit on the books now. Quite a bit of gigs are coming in fast. I was just with a buddy guy in Mississippi. We did a casino in Mississippi, and Buddy said, "Hey, baby, I can send you some work if you want. I'm getting too much. Send you some." I said, "Don't send me.
Don't send me no.
Don't send me nothing, buddy." Yeah, I said, my calendar's almost all full already. So we can be great. We can be grateful that we're getting work like that. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I've enjoyed myself.
Thank you. It's an honor. It's an honor, and it's a pleasure to sit down with you.
It's my honor, Hozier. It's my honor.
And I could cry.
Cry Power is made in association with Global Citizen, a movement of activists all over the world who are using their collective voice to end extreme poverty by 2030. you can head to globalcitizen.org/crypower to take action on any of the issues we talk about on this show and earn tickets to gigs all over the world by signing petitions, writing emails, or sending tweets to world leaders. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the Cry Power podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts right now. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Hozier, and this is Cry Power.